I'd like to thank the grace of heaven, the virtues of our masters, compassion of our predecessors, all transmitters, and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to learn to speak in today's class on the golden thread. So the golden thread in the Tao is like a record of the Tao lineage, similar to our family tree. It's the record history of heaven's Tao to know where we all came from. Like a family tree, it is important for us to know our family lineage and history. Maintaining a sense of who we are and where our family comes from, who our paternal and maternal grandparents are, our great-grandparents are, and so on and so forth. So without them, we wouldn't be here today. So we wouldn't exist without them. So this is the same meaning in the Tao. Knowing the Tao lineage will give us a greater insight in where our roots are, and to understand that our masters went through a lot of hardships and sufferings in bringing this Tao to us. Without them, we would not be able to receive this Tao so easily today. We must be grateful to them and always remember our roots. So for your information, it's interesting to know that Confucius has the longest family tree in the world. Okay, so he is the descendant, it's not in there, he is the descendant of King Tang in the 1600 BC. The tree spans more than 80 generations from it, and it includes more than 2 million members. That's Confucius. So, okay, now, Holy Teacher says, the golden thread is to honor and respect the teachers and their teachings, to respect to the seniors and guide the juniors. These are the moral principles of the Tao Temple. If we can abide this well, there is mutual harmony between all, being respectful and grateful to each other, having the right proper thoughts, conform to the truth and the will of heaven, then this temple is for the interest and benefit of all sentient beings. This is a very good place to connect and guide sentient beings. Among the same kinds of temples, if one never heard of the terms Heaven's Mandate or the Golden Thread that in this white period, then this temple may not be within the Golden Thread. So we frequently hear our predecessors talk about it all the time, right? So about the special, wonderful Heaven's Mandate and the Golden Thread. So if one leave Heaven's Mandate, break off from the Golden Thread, one will probably be lost to the side door of the Tao path, cannot leave the life and death cycle, and will then re-enter samsara. From this, one knows how important Heaven's Mandate and the Golden Thread is to a cultivator in this white period. Okay, so this is all Holy Teacher's words. The point from our enlightening master opens up our first treasure is the beginning of transcending from birth and death, not the complete fulfillment. Transcend depends on this one point. To complete it depends on self. Now the approach is receiving the Tao first and then cultivate. Okay, so just because we receive the first treasure doesn't mean we're going to transcend. We also have to follow up with learning and cultivation, the whole thing to be complete in order to transcend. Holy Teacher says, one point of transmission has allowed one to transcend, but the receiver has to get rid of the old habits, the worries, and vexations to break off the obstructions. Otherwise, one cannot transcend from birth and death, and one will still be roaming within the reincarnation cycle. Okay, so now we are very lucky to have received this one point of transmission. We also have to learn and practice the Tao to the best of our ability. 2, what is the meaning of the golden thread? So Holy Teacher divides it into the 3 words, 1, gold, and line. That's the Chinese for Yi Jing Xian. Okay, so 1 means only 1, not 2, the source of or root of all creations. The gold represents eternal, unchanged essence or nature. And the xian, the line, means to symbolize or stand for from the source of all creations and among all creations. One type of fundamental draw or attraction of power or strength. It can also say the root and power for all creations to return to that one source. It doesn't matter how long or how far, it will never end. break or disappear. So that's how important that golden thread is. It's everlasting. Okay? This golden thread is the true principle from heaven, from God. God descended to this world myriads of things. It is the creation among a substance, the responsibility among rules and regulations. Cultivators should perform the doctrine of the mean, that's the center, not to deviate from the center to the extremes. It will never change. Always one truth prevails. Heaven's mandate and the golden thread is what temples in the white period focus on, and also won't leave the limits of this principle. Okay, so the Holy Teacher says there are two kinds of golden thread. The first is inborn golden thread from God. That's what our Buddha nature, right? So we're all born with that. That's our golden thread. The second is the golden thread within the Tao. That's the family tree, the lineage, okay? So let's talk about the inborn golden thread from God. Holy Teacher says, from heaven, God descended heaven's mandate. Every sentient being has one. It's never changing and everlasting. This Buddha nature is linked with heaven. When everyone's heart and mind is still and without thoughts, without ego, the Buddha nature will naturally be one with God. It always will have an innate wisdom, unwavering, one-step approach to reach absolute heaven. This is every single person's golden thread in oneself. Then the second one is the golden thread within the Tao. Holy Teacher says, from heaven God descended heaven's mandate by way of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to carry on the mandate, to ferry sentient beings' golden thread in the Tao. This is the golden thread between our introducer, our guarantor, our transmitter, and predecessors from past life affinity. And in this third period before the year that major calamity hits, I guess that means the end of the world, when the time that Tao is openly propagated, when we meet up again due to predestined relationships, only then can we have this good affinity to cultivate and propagate the Tao. So to examine the meaning and significance of the golden thread, Holy Teacher says, this is our good affinities with our introducer, guarantor, and transmitters. Those we cultivate and propagate the Tao with. In this turmoil world, the Tao situation is confused and chaotic. People's heart and mind are evil and malicious. If we cannot follow this golden thread closely and firmly, follow predecessors, take stable, steady steps, cultivate our inner heart and mind and character, and peacefully establish oneself, when we are given a big test in everything, or if a great calamity comes suddenly, then how are we able to have the will and strength to really avoid this calamity? Therefore, when we cultivate our temperament and heart and mind to be upright and proper, evil spirits cannot invade us. Then that is truly no disorder in the system. Otherwise, when the golden thread breaks, life is also difficult to protect completely. Okay, so when we deviate from the golden thread, we cannot protect ourselves. Okay, so the golden thread in the system of Tao, okay, we, in this temple, we belong to the Fa Yi Zhu. So how many lines are there in total?
I think there's only, 13 or something?
13? Okay, so we are one of the 13 lines,
Right.
Fa Yi Zhu. The unit is Fa Yi Tong Yi, okay? And we are under the true sage of great virtue. That's Da De Zhen Jun. Okay, that's our predecessor. So that's our line. So the golden thread starts with God, of course. We all came from God. Everything came from God. And then in this white period, okay, we start with our 17th patriarch. That's Jin Gong Zhu Si, who is the incarnation of Mila Buddha, the Maitreya. Then comes the 18th patriarch and the 18th matriarch. That's the incarnation of our holy teachers, Jin Gong Buddha and the Bodhisattva of Moon and Wisdom. Then comes grand predecessor, the Lao Qianren, the white water saint emperor, okay, Bai Sui Sendi. Then comes predecessor, which is our Da De Zhen Jun, true sage of great virtue. Then comes senior transmitter Trey. He is now known as true sage of joyful Tao. Then comes our senior transmitter, Jin. Okay, we all know who he is. Then comes all other transmitters. That means right here we have another transmitter, Jin. Okay, and then we have transmitter Zhen in California, transmitter Ling in Dallas, transmitter Rong, who is now out of town in Ohio and Iowa, and transmitter Lo in California. And I think that is it, right? Total of 6 transmitters. Okay. So then comes our introducer and guarantor, because without them we wouldn't be able to receive the Tao today. And all Tao members, that includes temple hosts, lecturers, speakers, staff members, and all other Tao members. Okay, that is our golden thread. So we cannot deviate from this thread at all. Cultivate and practice in the golden thread. Holy Teacher says, this then is the white period cultivator's route line to abide by. The direction and objective or goal to depend on this to practice. Definitely do not lead this Tao golden thread, as well as able to eliminate bad habits and restore our original Buddha nature. Even establish and prove the Buddha path. Okay, that's the golden thread. Okay, so this whole scripture is from our Holy Teacher. And this is Holy Teacher Jigong Buddha's merciful instruction or teachings from 1944 on February the 1st. This total 15 chapters or sections. Each section has its clear and definite main point. The difference is set forth and it elaborates the intentions of the Tao. Holy Teacher says, again, as a result of heaven's Tao propagation, we are urged to do good deeds. It's the distinguishing feature of heaven and man doing it together. This is the teachings and approach established according to the Buddhas and sages. Okay, so number 4, how to have faith, accept, and follow the golden thread. So Holy Teacher broke it into 15 sections. What is meant by Tao? So Holy Teacher says, with sincerity, we can follow this path to rid of our temper and bad habits. Everything we see in this world is not real, like the reflection we see in water. The 4 seasons passes quickly, and without realizing, the true leaves turns to yellow and brown very quickly, as our life passes by quickly. We use our false self to cultivate the Tao, our never-changing, everlasting true self. We use our physical body to cultivate our Buddha nature. Everything in the universe has its principles. Everyone can find out where we all came from. From one source comes millions. All religions came from this Tao. Gradually, everything in this world will return to its original source. That is why there are more and more calamities in this period. Tao is the path. We must follow this path. Heaven gave us this golden thread. This is the heavenly principles, the natural order of things. Do it according to our conscience. So we should all cherish this opportunity that we have received this one point of transmission. So we should all appreciate it and come to the temple as often as we can to learn and practice the Tao in this white period. A Tao receiver has to break the bad habits from past lives. One needs to practice the Tao and to obstruct worries. Otherwise, one still cannot transcend the cycle of life and death. Okay. Reason Tao is descended. Holy Teacher says, heaven is telling us that the fastest route is by using our compassion and wisdom to manifest it. God descended this Tao to us like a mother to a pure child so we can return home. However, we follow our desires and attachments and do things out of our conscience. We are caught up in the cycle of reincarnation. We get trapped in this world of shapes and forms, lost our conscience. We commit more and more faults. We are so lucky to come across this Tao in this white period. To be grateful to our introducer and guarantor, we can take and fulfill our vows. Number 3, the proof of our enlightening masters of propagation of Tao. So who are our enlightening masters? Anybody? the holy teachers, which is Jigong Buddha and the Bodhisattva of Moon and Wisdom on the left side. Okay, these are our enlightening masters that gave us that 1 point of transmission. They are in charge of the propagation of Tao in the 3 realms. Okay, so without heaven's mandate, the enlightening masters cannot transmit this Tao to sentient beings. If we cultivate Tao in this life, we can accomplish enlightenment in this life. So our holy teacher sees the long road ahead of us. We all know this world is full of suffering, but there's still a lot of sentient beings out there who still doesn't know that. So we all get blindsided by the forms and desire in this world every day. We get so involved in making money that we don't cherish this precious Tao. So we cultivate ourselves by speaking good words, think good thoughts, and do good deeds. We are already in heaven. We do not need to pass away to see heaven. So holy teacher says to conform to destiny where Tao descends into this human world, to carry or bear the responsibility and instruction to ferry the universe, to prove the evidence of teacher's heaven's mandate, and to realize that teacher is truly our good friend. So God descended this Tao to guide us back. Humans come into this world and we lose our way. Number 4, cultivation is one's own aspiration, one's own free will. It is all by choice. No one can force us to cultivate, okay? But we are given this choice, so why not take the best choice, and which is to cultivate ourselves, okay? So holy teacher says, understand, grasp the center to increase energy. Again, the center, okay? Transform and get ready to perform merits. 9 levels of auspicious omen of the lotus rank is offered. Virtues and morals are complete in all respects. Will be very knowledgeable and quick-witted. Human words passed down from saints in favor of teachers' professional ethics. Life bestowed by heaven are admired and respected by God. Former accomplishments ought to be determined. Awaken the path and clear up the heart and mind. So we all have a mission to fulfill in this world, and that is to ferry sentient beings back to absolute heaven. So when we cultivate ourselves and manifest our virtues, then we will be linked with heaven. Number 5, the relationship between cultivation and oneself. Cultivation does not leave our body, just like a blacksmith will not leave the anvil. You know, the anvil is where they hammer the steel or that's it. So that's how important cultivation is to our body. Heaven and man always become one. Only then will one manifest Tao in the highest, most revered and respected way. So without our body, we cannot cultivate. Without manifesting the Tao in us, we cannot see the Tao in our body. Okay. So number 6, the relationship between cultivation and family. Holy teacher says modern times begin to have many disturbances. The turmoil in family matters. The result can dwell in Tao each and every time. Naturally, one will become a place of peace and harmony. So if the Tao is in our family, in the ethics, and we follow the moral principles, then naturally there will be peace and harmony in our life. So we must practice what we had gone through the last class, the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues to manifest this Tao. Number 7, the relationship between cultivation and society. So Holy Teacher is saying that we must abide by the principles to rid of our bad habits. We must be kind and compassionate to all sentient beings. We should be wiser in our cultivation by consuming vegan food to end the endless cycle of cause and effect. Will not harm ourselves, our ancestors, and descendants. So in other words, every day we got to be kind and compassionate to all sentient beings. Put a smile on that face. When we are outside, be kind to everybody, not just the people we like, to everybody. So this, in fact, will be like a chain reaction. other people, after you are kind to them, will be kind to others, and so on and so forth. So this is how it affects society. And also, if we are not kind, we are mean to people, again, that will be a negative effect to society. Okay? So at the same time, a lot of people in today's world use what? Meat of sentient beings in their celebration. Okay? So when we as adult cultivator, we should use what? Vegan food in our celebration. Because vegan food is not only tasty and yummy, it is harmless to sentient beings, okay? There is no killing. There is no harm to sentient being. We are not causing additional karma for our future life, okay? This is how it affects society, okay? Number 8, the relationship between cultivation and the Buddhas. So, Holy Teacher says, follow the ways of the Buddhas. Follow the ways of our predecessors who have become saints and Buddhas. Okay? We have great example for us to follow. And what is better than follow the ways of the Buddhas? They themselves used to be human beings like we are today. But because they cultivated so well that now they have transcended from this cycle of birth and death. They are now Buddhas that millions and billions of people worship. So we should follow their ways in order to return back to God. Okay? And also, we should follow the ways of our predecessors, okay, who have cultivated in this life and had gone through so much hardship and suffering in order to bring this down to us. Okay? And they too have transcended from this world of suffering, because they too follow the ways of the Buddhas. Okay, so that's what we should do. Number 9, the relationship between cultivation and the spirits of our ancestors. To do our utmost in filial piety to one's parents and love and respect to one's elder brothers. To help pull out the soul of our ancestors from the deep sea of suffering. To bear the sins of one's ancestors, as well as required to clear up and pay back. Okay, so Holy Teacher here is talking about uplifting. Okay, so uplifting is a way of saving the spirits from the underworld to transcend into absolute heaven. However, the person that's uplifting will have to bear on their karmas. Okay. But if our parents have left this world and they did not receive the Tao, we must do our utmost to uplift their spirits. How do we do that? Number 1, by learning, practicing, doing what we're supposed to do, and cultivating ourselves thoroughly to collect and earn a lot of merits in order to uplift them, because then we have to bear on their karmas. So Holy Teacher is telling us not to be afraid to bear on their karmas. We have to be brave, okay, because that's our responsibility, right? So however, I learned that in this past staff class, correct me, transmitter, if I'm wrong, that Holy Teacher said we no longer have to uplift. Is that correct?
Well, it's not to say that we don't uplift, but rather it seems that we can just first practice the Tao, and yet still can, like, not uplift, but rather just can get the merits of what their assets.
Right, because the more we do, the more they can benefit. Remember, whatever good deeds we do, 7 generations of ancestors can benefit, and 9 generations of descendants can benefit. So whatever good deeds we perform, they can all benefit from us. If we put in 30%, heaven will reward us with 70%. Okay, so think of what a great investment that will be. Okay, number 10. The relationship between cultivation and follow temple rules and regulations. Holy Teacher says, when we return home, we must conform to the rules and regulations. Manifest virtues in heaven and earth for the purpose of our return. Evolve and abide by the rules and regulations. Guard our wisdom and our Buddha nature. So every day we must follow and abide by the rules and regulations of the temple. If we cultivate and do not follow the temple rules and regulations, then we are actually not cultivating, because that's all part of the cultivation. We are only doing half of a job. Okay, so we want to do a full job. Temple rules and regulations are very important in the cultivation of Tao. It is not only practiced in this human realm, it is also practiced in heaven. So we must learn all the temple rules and regulations in this human realm first in order to follow them, not only in this world, but also in absolute heaven. There's no one to teach us up there, so we must all know of them when we go back. Okay? So number 11, cultivation and tribulations. True Tao has real tests from the devil. Understand that all Buddhas to appear is rare. Suffering all kinds of hardship amid hardship. What is the pleasure of reaching enlightenment? And they are: 1. Separate true and false. 2. Eliminate sins and evil. 3. Transform one's nature to be simple and honest. And 4. Set official rank in heaven. Okay? So all saints and Buddhas went through lots of tests, like we are going through right now. Okay? They all suffered trials and tribulations. Due to their cultivation and determinations, they all passed, okay, and returned back to God. So tests are to see how truly sincere we are and to get rid of our bad habits and tempers. So don't be afraid of tests. It will only make us into a better cultivator. Even if we fail the test, it's okay. So it will make us be more determined to pass the test next time. It will make us try to cultivate harder and better for the next test to come to us. Okay, so without tests, we wouldn't know how we are doing in cultivation and how to improve ourselves. So as long as we do well, our position in heaven will be based on how we cultivate and perform in this physical realm. Okay, so don't be afraid to be tested. Number 12, how to eliminate and repay the sins of one's past life. Holy Teacher says life and death can be compared with a mountain. See, mountain has what? Hills and valleys, up and down, right? Cause and effect move in endless cycles. Eliminate desires, hatred, and sins of one's past life, as well as act virtuously in the interest of ancestors. So if we can understand where karma comes from, then we would manifest our virtues from our Buddha nature through sentient beings. All sentient beings are our brothers and sisters, and we must respect and treat them with loving kindness, even if they do not treat us well. So that is where the full immeasurable mind comes in, okay? Or what Liu Jiangsi calls it the infinite Buddha state of mind. And that is the infinite loving kindness to give love and happiness to others, the boundless compassion to save others from suffering or are willing to suffer for others. The third is the infinite equanimity or relinquishment to yield and give up for all others. And the last, limitless or boundless happy joy to rejoice in the welfare of others. Okay. So if somebody doesn't treat us well and we do our best to treat them well, okay, and they still don't treat us well, that is due to a past karma. Okay. So when we do that, by treating them well, even though they treat us horribly, we can break off that cycle of karma. Okay. And then our sins will be paid back to them. So that is why no matter how other people treat us, we still treat them well. Okay, even if they're mean and nasty, we still put on that smile on our face. Doesn't matter how others treat us. What's more important is how we treat other people. Okay? Number 13, process of cultivation. Holy Teacher says, clearly recognize and accept that we are here to help heaven fairy sentient beings. Be aware that today's people are narrow-minded and lose one's way. To transcend forever everyday comforts. Intoxicated late at night, deep in the sea of suffering. Sincerely understand and follow the temple rules and regulations. Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Buddha nature will naturally reveal and realize the simple truth. Buddha nature will be one's true master. Okay? So sincerity will come from our understanding of the principles. We must find our Buddha nature, which is our conscience, and we have to get rid of our bad temper and bad habits. We have to stop killing sentient beings and cause endless karmas. We have to ferry sentient beings, and whatever peace and harmony you ask for will be right next to you. Okay? Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that what we all want? Is to have peace and harmony? Okay, number 14. This is a really long one. Maybe you guys can read it and I'll just talk about it. Okay. So, number 14 is actually to understand and know the purpose or the essence of Tao. Okay. So, we have to learn the purpose and understand the principles of Tao to eventually to reach what lecture Tai talked about in the last class, Confucius' ideal world of great harmony. Okay, so the best thing is to memorize the essence of Tao. Okay, so this way, every day we think about it and we know what we are here to do. What is our purpose in this world? Number 15, result of cultivation. Whatever good deeds we do, our ancestors and our descendants will benefit from us. Okay, and we do not have to. We can transcend, and we do not have to reincarnate again. So, okay, number 15, yeah. To attain Buddhahood will leave a good name. Will show relatives the honor in family status. Will solve the sufferings of life and death. Will never rotate, turn, or return in life and death cycle. Teaches instructions here and now. To be worthy of the name is virtuous and righteous. True merit established has true fruits. A bit of false approach will be blind, deceitful, and lose one's way. Teacher hand down instructions to transform our heart and mind. The golden thread creates success or fruition. If only this can be printed and publicized to deliver to all regions. Cultivation can be able to affect descendants permanently. Words tell here and now not to distinguish or discriminate. Holy Teacher says, grasp the right and profound meaning with simple words. Live up to Teacher's example in heart and mind. So these are the 15 points, the invisible golden thread that is supporting all temples. Okay, so Holy Teacher says to recognize our conscience. Okay, there are these side doors that can pull us to them. Okay, so we do not allow side doors to pull us away. These are our tests of sincerity. We have to clearly understand and see what we are doing. We don't need someone to push us. We will naturally follow this golden thread. Follow the temple regulations. Respect teachers and their teachings. Report to seniors and guide juniors. Okay. So in conclusion, Holy Teacher says, according to heaven, what God descended from the bottom of her heart is heaven's mandate called nature. That is our original peaceful, quiet, bright own nature, conscience, acting as the main principal part. Then to follow introducer, guarantor, transmitter, predecessors, we cultivate and do it together. These good affinities are from everyone's past life accomplishments, from cultivating and performing together. The guideline for cultivation and practice will help and support the goal and objective of Tao. Simply by means of Holy Teacher's merciful golden thread, it becomes the guidance, trust, acceptance, and persuadance. So this is the true, genuine golden thread to hold firmly and not to let go. Okay, so we must follow this golden thread in order to return to God. And this is our Tao family tree. Never deviate from it. Just like our own family tree in our own household. If you don't get along with your parents or your sibling and you say, oh, forget about it, and you run out the door and go and seek another family. Can we do that? No. Okay, you might get a little upset in the beginning, but we have to learn to let go. Okay, we never deviate from our parents. Okay, just like we would never deviate from this golden thread. Okay. However, let's give an example. If somebody such as our introducer or guarantor or a transmitter or even a good buddy in the temple, okay, leave this temple and says, come with me. We're going to cultivate together in a different temple, a temple that will love us better. Okay? Do we do that? Can we do that? We can't, because this is our family tree. Okay? We are following the Tao. We are not following the people. Okay? Even if a transmitter leaves, we do not follow. We are following the Tao, not the people. You got it? So you never leave this golden thread. Okay. Now for another example, if somebody is from another line, a different temple, and say, oh, I want to come to your temple and cultivate together with you because you're my buddy. Can they do that? If both sides of the temple get permission from their transmitter, only if both transmitter agree, only then you can do that. If one transmitter agree and one doesn't, you still cannot do that. I have a good childhood friend. Okay, we grew up together. When I asked her to receive the Tao, she goes, no. She doesn't want to hear about it. A few years later, she told me, oh, I received the Tao that you were talking about. Okay, you know how disappointed I was? Okay? However, she didn't understand what the Tao is. She doesn't even remember the 3 treasures. She never went back to her temple. Okay? She even wants to come here because I'm here. Did I let her? No. You did not see her here. Okay? You know what I said to her? If you can get permission from your transmitter, and I will get permission from my transmitter, only if they both agree, then you can come here. Okay? She goes, okay, I will ask. But up to today, she has not asked. So unless she asks, I'm not going to ask. Okay? So she doesn't know anything about the Tao. She's lost. Okay? So I would love it if she come here, you know, if she get permission and she come here, we can cultivate together. I can, you know, teach her more. But she hasn't done that. I cannot do that.
But if she doesn't really go to the other temple, and has no real contact with them.
Yeah, because she doesn't understand. Okay. She does ask me a question in the Tao here and there. Okay. But I cannot go into like a 2-hour talk with her, then she'll avoid me. I can only answer her question. You see? So, yeah. But however, her husband and her daughter also receive. But they don't believe. Both of them don't believe. Okay? They all receive the Tao, but they don't believe. But she is more geared to, more open-minded, let's put it that way. Okay, she's more open-minded. So that is also a negative side to her coming into the Tao, because if she comes in and her husband and daughter doesn't, then they will be pulling her backwards too. See, that's another negative point. Any questions?
For the benefit of everyone, let's say you have, someone in your religion, and trying to get them to come to the temple, should we say to them that the acts there?
No, that's in a different religion.
Yeah, I know, but still.
No, that's a different religion. Only if they are in the same Tao, heaven's Tao, that you need to get permission from both transmitters.
No, I mean, we shouldn't we shouldn't we can't force them. I mean, it's, if they're willing to come to the temple, it's one thing. I mean, it's their free will. They can choose. But we should not say, oh, yeah, you have to come to this, the religion, the church doesn't, you can't get salvation there. We shouldn't say these things.
Yeah, we shouldn't say negative things about other religions. And at the same time, you cannot force them to come to the Tao temple. Okay, maybe that's where their affinity lies, right? So we can bring it up, but it's also a decision that they have to make. Okay, we can't force people to do anything, especially to come and receive and practice the Tao. That cannot be forced. It has to be natural. So we are all very lucky that we all receive. So we must practice and cultivate ourselves to the best of our ability, okay? And never deviate from this golden thread. That's why it's gold in color. I'm just kidding. Yes?
Paragraph, can you, before the conclusion, what's, okay, recognize your conscience, and then there are these side doors that can pull us to them. These are, there are these side doors. What do you
Yeah,
mean
there
by
are these side doors, like, you know,
Yeah,
旁门嘛.
that-
Huh?
It could mean that, but I think it means something else, doesn't
I
it?
don't know.
Heretical or not proper.
Not
teachings.
proper, yeah.
Not proper
Right.
teachings.
Yeah,
or
that's what
So we gotta be
that
careful.
means.
Right.
Yeah. This is from a
It could mean
China.
that, but, yeah.
And the other, the
Other practices.
Yeah,
other
yeah,
practices
well,
that doesn't have
So we
the,
don't.
Yeah, like shoot the four
1
practices.
point transmission.
Yeah, the key is anything that, well, yeah. It's just not proper doctrine.
Yeah, they're not talking about religions. They're just talking about, you know, yeah.
Teachings.
But they
Yeah.
say that if you don't
And-
have that
or-
1 point transmission, it's considered
Common too, right. So that's more specific. But in general, it just means anything that's not proper teaching, like extreme views, extreme ideology, stuff like that. We gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Or
So,
those who claim that they get on Patreon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
well, you guys,
Yes.
yeah, we just have to be careful.
Or even the fake Buddhas,
The 19th
right?
patriarch, the 19th
20,
patriarch.
I think they have like 20.
There's a 19th patriarch?
20 now. They,
No.
they have the 20th now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, they do.
Yeah, just use our Buddha nature,
Just
our
like the Bible
wisdom.
say Antichrist,
Yeah.
stuff like that. False prophets. So we just gotta be careful.
Eating.
So that's the external. The internal is those,
Yeah.
our five doors, or
Senses.
whatever you wanna call it, 5 doors, senses, yeah.
Root.
Roots, yeah, roots. Okay, so just make sure, but that side door, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Side
Okay.
door.
Any other questions? This is a translation from the Chinese.
Yeah, but it's not,
Yeah. Yes, Edison.
But, okay, let's say we receive the Tao this day to visit again, but we decide, okay, I would like to go to Ohio.
What?
Temple.
Oh.
That's still in the line.
It's
But
still within the line,
but
yeah.
that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where, I mean.
Do I have to ask the transmitter, okay, I'm giving New York, leaving New York and moving?
Yeah.
You have to, yeah, that is,
But
You're
Yeah.
moving,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
or
Moving
no,
over to-
are you moving?
Are you
No, if you're
moving?
moving.
Are you moving to PA?
Yeah.
We're gonna,
No, that's,
we can carpool.
yeah, this is respecting the seniors. You gotta report to the seniors.
不乱系统.
I think you guys should consider moving to PA.
No, but you still have to report, that's all.
Yeah, that's what-
So it's protocol, it's protocol. It's a protocol.
Yeah.
Protocol,
It's
right?
basically
Yeah, and the
like-
transmitter will make sure that you go to the right temple wherever you're going.
Yeah, don't go to the side door.
Yeah, don't go to the side
The
doors.
side temple. Side door temple. The wrong temple.
Are you moving?
No.
You
I
can
love New
consider
York.
PA.
He's thinking about it.
New York.
PA.
But even if you go temporarily, you should still.
Yes,
follow
even
protocol.
if you're only going for 2 weeks, you still have to report to the
Yeah.
If you're
seniors.
taking a vacation.
It's protocol.
Yeah.
Report.
Even if you're going on regular vacation, you still have to report. You just have to let the transmitter know, oh, I'm gonna be away from this day to this day.
I have a maybe future question. Let's
Yeah.
say your kids, right?
Yeah.
Marry someone from a different
Another temple?
line of temple, but it's Tao, but it's different line. What that happen? That's not
Then you
clear.
ask the trust, or you guys, the husband and wife should decide. what
Yeah.
they cultivate at, and then both sides the trust
Yeah.
can agree.
Right. You gotta decide which temple you're gonna go and stay in. But once you change, you gotta stay in there. You cannot go back and forth and back and forth.
No, so it has to get
It's an
approval
Indian
from both
concept.
sides and decide which work.
Well,
Yes.
the husband and wife had to agree, right? Where they should.
Yeah, in either her temple or your temple, so you have to come to a mutual agreement. But you should not go back and forth. You're gonna fall in the middle and you end up nowhere.
1 week there, 1 week there. Why not? Why not? That's fair.
If both sides of the transmitter allow that, then
1 week
fine.
there, 1 week
Yeah.
next
It's like
week there.
it's like one person riding the two boats.
Yeah. 2 feet on 2
And they're
boats.
gonna fall off.
Yeah, the holy
But some
teacher
people do
says,
that.
then you end up in nowhere
Some
because
people
you're
do that.
falling in the middle.
Some people do that.
Yeah, some people do that.
Because they think that's fair.
Yeah, because they don't see anything wrong with it.
Another week there.
Yeah, and nobody knows because if they don't say anything, nobody would know. We're finished. Yeah, just don't deviate from this golden thread period. Okay? So I thank you, everybody. If I say anything wrong or I did not cover this topic well enough, I ask God, all the saints and Buddhas for their forgiveness.